The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. And after a week off, we are joining, as we do just about every Wednesday, with the Mayor of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us from Government Center. Mayor, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Keith. How about you?
We've had some great fall weather, and I know today's the last of the 70-degree days, but we can't complain about what we've had. It's been spectacular, and I know we've had a couple of outdoor events in the past few weeks where the weather's been great, so can't complain about that, right?
No, the weather is the least of our worries.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of quick things. Go ahead, Mayor.
I said we need a little rain though, because we get a little dry.
Yeah, it is getting kind of dry out there. I do agree. Just a couple quick things this week. I actually want to start with the school committee this week had its monthly meeting. The Florida Educators Association, as they have done since around this summertime when the school committee has met, they've rallied outside the committee outside Durfee High School, wherever the meeting is being held. Of course, the union has been working without a contract since the beginning of the school year. Again, a number of members of the FREA have been out during a public comment period. Let me ask you, I know there's actually another negotiating session tonight. So if you're watching this past Wednesday, there may be some news coming out of the negotiations later this afternoon. But how frustrating has it been from your end? I know there may be some frustrations, and I'll talk about school committee members, but how frustrating has it been that nothing's been done, been settled?
We want the contract settled. I don't know if frustration is the right word. If you remember, right, we did want to meet over the summer, but because of scheduling conflicts with members and whatnot, that really didn't happen. So we kind of got jammed into the school year now, and now that's when we're rolling along. I know as a member of that union for a long time and someone that was involved with negotiations with the administration from both sides as a teacher and as an administrator in the schools, sometimes these things take a long time. I believe that we have made a substantial offer. There's been a back and forth between the union and the administration. I'm hoping we're getting closer. It seems like things are moving a little bit, but it's not as fast as we want. People come down and express their frustrations with the contract. It's obviously going to be retroactive, so they're going to get all their money, but they probably just need it in a more timely manner. So if we can get this wrapped up, that's a positive. The committee did kick around a few things the other night at the meeting. We also met with representatives from the union that wanted to talk about some of the issues in the Florida public schools separate from the contract negotiations. So we have a good dialogue going with them right now, and hopefully we can come to a resolution. I think, like I said, the numbers we're offering are very substantial. They obviously wanted more, and obviously our first offer was extremely low. We didn't think that would get it done, and I don't know if they thought their first offer would get it done either. So we're getting closer, just more work to do.
I know that Monday, committee member Kevin Aguiar was talking about the process a little bit, and he mentioned that a lot of it depends on the school department budget and money set aside for raises and added benefits. And he mentioned a figure of $5 million that's been set aside for the next 3 years. Is that the number? Is there any wiggle room? And it appears that, according, again, from what the committee member Aguiar says, there's still a big gap between the two sides.
Yeah, there is a big gap. It's like $9 million, but I think that $5 million is per year, Keith. I think that's I don't think that's for the 3 years. So we do have work to do.
Correct.
But I believe that again, we're not talking about really, really horrible offers. When we look at the neighboring communities, our offer is much more substantial than anybody around here got. I know that what the teachers union is looking for is a correction to put us on par with our neighboring communities from step 1 to step 12. They are ahead of us. I believe we are offering some corrective measures in this contract when you look at like what the neighboring communities are getting. Some of them getting 3, 3, and 3. We're far above that. We're at 7, 5, 5. For our more established top step teachers, it's 855, but there is still room to move. Hopefully we can get this done, and I hope they make some progress tonight.
I also know that there's been an issue for the past few years in filling all the teaching positions and the positions within the district. Of course, the union is saying it has to do with the contract and the way that it still hasn't been settled. Are you seeing that? Is that something that's been an issue this year, or has it just been a problem with Fall River schools in the past, just filling positions because there may not be enough people interested in applying?
I think the problem is, I was given some statistics the other day, which I still want to confirm them. I don't even like to repeat them. That at one point, many of our colleges, 30% of the undergrads are coming in were in education programs. Now that's down to 4%. So the pressure to get and attract good candidates becomes more and more difficult as that pool shrinks. That's what's going on, not just in Fall River. I want people to know that there are teaching positions open all over the state. People need staff, and with the Student Opportunity Act and the additional funding, that allowed us to expand our roster of teachers, but you can't fill the positions anyway. And some of those high needs areas, like I said before, special ed, math, and science, a teacher with those certifications, any of those certifications, is like gold. And they were like that when I was there 15 years ago. You just can't get people to take those positions. And so then what happens is the small group of people that are coming out of colleges are going to the top paying districts. Now, Fall River is not a top paying district. I don't believe anybody around here is a top paying district. I got a friend of mine. She lives in Fall River, right down near Kennedy Park, and she's a teacher in Milton, and she's making way over $105,000 a year. It was numbers like that, and I'm like, oh my God, we're not going to get there. We can't compete. And she would literally rather drive to Milton for that kind of a substantial bump in pay. That's the problem. Shortage of the pool of people coming out of colleges, the difficulties of the position with what goes on today, and the pay. We have a triumvirate of things that are working against us, and it makes it more difficult. Now, I am all for adjusting our teachers' pay. I think everybody on that committee is. I can see when we sit back there, it's just, where do we end up? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this week at the school committee meeting, there was an update on the cell phone policy, which went into effect last week at the city's middle schools and high school. At Durfee High School, the students walk in, they have the what called yonder pouches, which they would place their cell phone, their AirPods, and their smart watches until the end of the school day. The superintendent said she sees things going well after the first week. There was a student delegate from Durfee who said, yes, things were going well, but there were some issues. This is still a work in progress, isn't it?
It is a work in progress. The student delegate from Durfee, who I consider to be a friend of mine, she's a good kid. She brought up some factors like college applications. What if you needed information? It's on your phone. As you're aware, mostly all of our kids have Chromebooks now. If they need to load information onto there, I'm hoping they're able to do that, or I'll follow up after school and do what they need to apply for colleges. It's a common application. So once they have that information out there, I'm pretty sure we have it in our offices also. And there were a few other issues that she brought up. I was walking around Durfee. I think it was Monday. I was in Durfee on Monday, and I did notice a change in the climate. People's heads were not buried in their phone as they walked the halls, ignoring everything that's going on. It seemed like kids were more engaged. I think that's the problem. Now, I was there when we changed the policies to allow kids to use the phones, and I was never in favor of it because I thought that what was going to happen was what happened. People were not going to use them for math work, or they were not going to use them for college applications. They were going to use them to correspond with their friends all day long. It's kind of what happened. But yeah, trying to put the genie back in the bottle, this is going to be a very tough slog to get kids off these phones. They really use them all day long. I drive up sometimes the corner of Oak Grove and New Boston Road when I'm leaving for work in the morning, and there's 5 or 6 kids waiting for a bus, and every one of them's just got their face in the cell phone. They're not talking to each other. They're not talking about if you're going to a game, what are you doing after school, how'd you do on a math test, where are you hanging around this weekend. I think those conversations have kind of all gotten shunted to the side. It's just different times, and I would rather see us being able to communicate in person with people and not with that distraction. I mean, I know what it's like. You know, I never thought I'd have a cell phone that I'm so dependent on now. But for these kids, they do depend on them, but it doesn't make you a better person. It just gives you more info.
Yeah. I want to wrap up with a couple of upcoming events. One's actually happening tomorrow night. Chris Herron, of course, a lot of people may know Chris from his time as a basketball star here at Durfee in college and also in the NBA. He's going to be talking about his struggles with addiction at Durfee High School. I know this has been paid for through some of the opioid settlement money in Fall River. From what you know, what can we expect to hear from Chris tomorrow night?
Oh, Chris is a very compelling speaker. I've seen him a few times, and I hope people get out there tomorrow night. The doors open at 5 at the new Durfee Auditorium. It's free. I know we have the place probably half full right now, but if people want to come, there's room. So get out there and join us. It's a message that everybody should hear. You know, again, he'll talk about the fact that some people don't want to hear it, but it is something that's very positive. It's also part of our kickoff for our curriculum that we're buying for Florida Public Schools. We obviously already have one. This is a stronger one with an anti-drug message to try to get people to focus on living life to their fullest without drugs. And we're pushing it now. We're trying to get it going. And I think Chris is a great kickoff keynote speaker. He does a great job. As I said, I've seen him a few times, and it's definitely worthwhile to spend an hour or two at Durfee tomorrow night and listen to that message. It's a great story. He came a long way, and I give him all props.
Yeah. And finally, we're heading close. We just talked about how great the weather is, but soon we'll be celebrating the holidays and the holiday parade, which will be coming up, I believe, in early December, as it always has been. There's a special fundraiser to help raise funds coming up in a couple of weeks. It's a presentation of the Little Mermen, not the Little Mermaid, the Little Mermen, that will also be held at Durfee High School on Saturday, November 9th. And I know this should be exciting for a lot of the kids out there that may want to see some of the same style of show as the Little Mermaid. But the reason why I bring it up today is this Friday, there's actually an opportunity to save some money. We just got an email from your office that there's a QR code that'll be on our Facebook page, the city's Facebook page, where people can save $5 on that event. And this will help, of course, curb the cost of providing that fantastic parade.
Yeah, again, we want to get a full house there for this show. It's going to be spectacular. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's great for kids to go out and spend some time at Durfee with all the Disney favorite songs. We've seen this band on YouTube a number of times and looked at them. We think it's going to be a fun afternoon for families to get together and go out and enjoy some of Disney's movies themed music that is really, you know, the kids will all be able to sing along and understand it. It's full costumes. It's full stage. It's going to be a good show, and it's live, and we'd love people to join us. There's obviously a number of events coming up as we head into the holidays, and we want people to participate. It'd be great to get a full house there for all these events.
All right. Mayor, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thanks, Keith.
All right. And thank you for joining us at FRC Media. Have a great rest of your day.